Let's go out on the video chat and join Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation. Are you golfing this weekend, Justin? I think you're allowed to now, right?
Buddy, yeah, tennis for sure, man. I've been trying to get better, playing a lot with the friend of the show, Arash Madani, as well, so I'll be hitting the course, my man. What about you?
I was going to ask if you and Arash were going to play. Dude, it's snowing here today. I'm not doing anything but staying inside.
He's laughing at us.
My goodness.
I know. That's what we said. I was telling John, that's why they call it May, right? It may rain, it may snow, it may be windy, it may be sunny. Like right?
Yeah.
I mean, I wish we could get on the tennis courts. When we can travel, we'll do that. We'll hit the courts together. But
1983, I left my cottage on July 7th because it was snowing.
July?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
It snowed in every month of the year.
I know. Unbelievable. But to better things. I mean, I thought this was a positive week. I want this to be a positive show today. I would let everybody into the weekend feeling good. I've never felt better in over a year about where the CFL's at in terms of possibly being able to play. But am I out to lunch? Like, is it as positive right now that they might play with the comments and the news that's come out this week?
Dupes, my man. You know I'm generally a very upbeat and positive guy. But with the CFL, to be quite honest, we got to be realistic here. And I'll give you an example. The Montreal Canadiens, if they get to Game 6, are going to be allowed 2,500 fans at the Bell Centre as of May 28th. The Alouettes came out and said they're very encouraged by that statement. Yet we have the Ticats owner, Bob Young, with Ontario currently still in a lockdown until June 2nd, coming out and guaranteeing that his team is going to play. If there is any team in the CFL, Dupes, that should be guaranteeing they're going to play right now, it should be the Montreal Alouettes. So to me, it's time to pull up the curtain and let's see who really wants to play. Put your money on the table. We know the Ticats have it with Bob Young. Mark Gowdy, the Ottawa Redblacks president, came out and said, yeah, we want to play. Of course we know the Saskatchewan Roughriders want to play. Craig Dickinson replied to one of our tweets at 3 Down Nation and stated that was the case. So let's just go around the league. Put the cash on the table. See who's ready to play ball, because I'll bet you there's a couple teams that would not be good to go.
See, and that's why I think it's really positive is, hey, you got a Rod's Rant, the Rod's Rant for Bronco Plumbing and Heating, your factory-authorized Bryant Furnace dealer, BroncoPlumbingandHeating.com. That's big. I think, you look at Bob Young, you got one, right? Mark Gowdy's 2 in Ottawa saying yes. It wasn't Craig Reynolds, but it was Craig Dickinson, so 2.5, right? It's starting to turn. If you get to 4 or 5, ownership or presidents that say they want to play and they're going to guarantee playing, we know who the guys are that are willing to come to the table. And then you start to know who those other guys are. Can public pressure start to build enough that they say, okay, I'm done with this negative publicity because we can zero in on who doesn't want to play. Okay, we'll play. We'll join. We'll pay for the bubble or the hub or whatever it takes. Do you think that could happen?
You hit it right there, buddy. I do think that's what's exactly happening right now. I think that's what Bob Young is doing. I think that's what Mark Gowdy is doing because they know behind the scenes who doesn't want to play. And you're lining up the teams, right? We know for sure Wade Miller wanted to play football in Winnipeg last year. So he'll have the same thought this year. Edmonton hasn't even touched their reserve fund. They've got the cash to do it. I would imagine Calgary would go along with it as well. I've heard from people that I've talked to at the federal government level that say out in Alberta, it's kind of like the wild, wild west. They'll do whatever they want. They actually thought that there would be fans there first out of any other province in the country in terms of the NHL team. So let's count those teams in. And I've also heard that Ricola Lacheur with the BC Lions feels that it's best to play to protect the brand of the team, the brand of the league. So we just narrowed it down there really quick to 2 teams. The same 2 teams that kept the league off the field last year were the Alouettes and the Argos. So let's start putting the pressure on them and getting football on the field, my man. You want to talk about positivity? I'm with you. Let's out them. Let's put it out there, and let's see who's actually serious about this.
Yes, my man. That's what I'm talking about. Another Rod's Rant for Bronco Plumbing and Heating. Your authorized, your factory authorized.
Do you really believe, Justin, that the BC Lions are going to play? Are willing to do it too?
I do. Based on what I've heard, I think BC would be in. The interesting part, guys, is going to be when the rubber hits the road and they actually have this vote. At some point, Last year, it wasn't unanimous. That's what kept the league off the field. Now, some people said it was a 7-2 vote in favor of playing. Others said it was 6-3. Maybe the Lions were on the fence there a little bit. But I believe this year they are in. So it's about getting those other two teams, the Argos and the Owls. I hate to keep hitting on it, but it's the truth, in and wanting to play. And the Alouettes really don't have a reason now. They know they can at least get 2,500 fans outside if the Canadiens can get 2,500 inside. And that was at the end of May, guys. Imagine what could potentially happen if they hit that target date of August 5th. I do think the season's still going to be slid a little bit just because we're still in the lockdown in Ontario and Manitoba. The numbers are high and they're in a lockdown as well. But I think we could be playing football in the fall.
That's why I said positive show today. And, also, we do want to be realistic. And I believe that a month from now, we will be in a completely different world than we are today. We're in a different world today than we were 6 months ago. So things can change. This momentum might stop. But right now, heading into the weekend, it's super positive. Now, I was reading into that Alouettes statement when they said this is really positive and we expect our home games since they're going to start in September. And I was like, wait a second. We haven't seen a schedule yet. Are you alluding that you're going to play your first month on the road? Or all the Eastern teams coming west? It makes sense. Did they leak something?
A little bit. And I've heard behind the scenes that they're looking at this schedule, and they've had a couple drafts of it now in terms of having all the East teams on the road out west, and also the BC Lions, because Dr. Bonnie Henry out there has said that she doesn't see any large events taking place until potentially the fall. Obviously, things can change very quickly here if the curve is bent, but that means that you're going to have 5 teams, potentially playing in just 4 cities. And right now, Manitoba's in a lockdown. And Dupes, this is really why I feel like the best and most surest way to get on the field is a hub city or bubble in Saskatchewan. We know the numbers are down there. We know they love the riders there. They would welcome it with open arms. You can start that way and make sure that you get on the field. To me, that's how it happens. Yeah, you can open it up after, because the difficulty is going to be, let's say, for example, even if they do hit that target date, which I think right now, as Lisa McLeod, the sport minister on Ontario, did say was a little ambitious, that you still have to have, and they're talking about this number, 100 players coming across the border for each team to do training camp and practice. And right now, for example, Forge FC, the 2-time defending CPL champions, they can't even practice in Ontario.
Right. I know.
Well, is this going to change in the next couple of weeks? It's got to be in the next couple of weeks, right?
It could, Frenzy, but there's a plan that they've laid out, sort of this 3-step opening plan that's based on the vaccination rate. So if it hits 60% and then 70% and then 80%, that opens up different possibilities. But what I'm saying here is there's still a lot of loopholes or hurdles to jump through for that even to happen, for just training camp to take place. Guys, it might take about $1 million around the CFL just to get the guys up here from the United States, players and coaches, and quarantine them with the current 7-day rule, because those guys are going to have to be locked away in a hotel. So the CFL, that's a big number for them. The NFL, that would be pocket change. But up here, I'm sure they'd like to see that lifted so they don't have to fork out that. It's approximately $1 million.
Yeah.
Approximately $1 million is quite a bit of money, buddy. That's not going to go over
It is for
well.
the CFL.
That's not going to go over very well,
No,
I'll tell you that.
It really is. Now, on the U Sports side of it, and specifically out in Western Canada, the Canada West, we had Blake Nill on earlier in the week. More confidence that they can pull off getting on the field for their 6-game proposed season than the CFL?
Yes. If I was to ask our friends at Bodog Canada to put up a prop bet, and maybe I should do this, I would be placing my money on Canada West playing football in 2021 over the CFL. My hard-earned cash, if I had to put it down in one place, because it sounds like, Dupes, and you might even know better than I on this, the schools have gotten together out there. They've developed a plan, laid it out for a 6-game season, but they have a backup plan. You guys had the Regina Rams head coach, Mark McConkey, on your program, and he said we could fall back on just playing the University of Saskatchewan and the University of Manitoba in a 4-game season. So I have more faith that the Canada West is going to put football on the field in 2021 than the CFL. And that's due largely in part to the 2 teams we talked about, and we keep going back to the Alouettes and the Argos.
Can we go without them?
Hey, I'd be open to that. Let's put a schedule together. 7 team. Do it, man. Play for a Grey Cup. I mean, Bob Young was talking about, hey, at least the Ticats would win the Grey Cup if they were the only team that was going to play in 2021. So, hey, if they want to play, maybe we just move on without them. Say, hey, you can join the XFL. We'll keep going with our Canadian league.
Dunk, before we let you go, what are you watching? You're not watching football right now. So are you watching Chapeau in Switzerland? We just teed up. He's in the final tomorrow. Are you watching the Jays? Or are you watching the Stanley Cup playoffs?
I've been watching everything, honestly. At CHCH, prayers go out to Bubba O'Neill. He got COVID-19. I'm sure you guys heard of that out there. So he's still been off and recovering. So I've been helping fill in for him, essentially become the full-time sports guy now. And I've been watching the Leafs. Last night, obviously, John Tavares takes the knee to the face with Corey Perry. And I saw you guys had the poll going there as well. The end of the Raptors season came, and there's going to be a lot of talk, especially in the GTHA, about Masai Ujiri, what happens with his contract that expires on June 30th. And he just left for Africa, which was intriguing to me. I think he has all the leverage in the situation, but still lots to play out there. And then, tennis coming up, man. And to be quite honest, right now, I think what you guys should be focused on and talking about, Corey Connors leading the PGA Championship after one round, the first Canadian to do so since Mike Weir at the 2009 U.S. Open. That guy is smoking hot, striking the ball super well, coming off 2 top 10 finishes at the Masters, obviously the one that was played in November, then the one more recently in April. So keep an eye on Corey Connors over the weekend, man. I don't think that the pressure is going to get to him, but it will be interesting to see how he handles it.
Should you tell him or should I?
You go and tell him.
3 over 75 today for Connors. He's done.
He's already in.
I was shocked. Dunk, I did the same thing you did. I read the sports update. I'm like, round 1, -5. He's cooking with gas. And then our comments are, not a good start. Not a good start. Phil Mickelson finished 3 under with a 69. He's alone at the top, 5 under in Kiowa Island. So we'll watch. Connors is 3 shots back, so he's right in the mix. So
Connors is still in there. And man, Phil the Thrill, I love that he's still playing, but when he is not on the course, can we get him on the booth and boot Nick Faldo out of there? Because Phil was awesome. Dude, when we saw him mic'd up in that golf tournament, the special that they had, let's get Phil the Thrill in the booth if we can. I mean, he still wants to play, but he'd be great in the booth.
Let's do it, my man. Enjoy the tennis this weekend. Stay in touch. We'll talk soon.
You bet, buddy. When that snow gets cleared up, you better get your game sharp, because if there's Canada West football, we're getting out on the court.
I can't wait. Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation joining us on the video chat today. We got to roll.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.